Hey guys, so it's officially been 8 days since Donald Trump has been in office and president of the United States. And in those 8 days, he's done actually quite a bit of work. He's been signing off a bunch of executive orders and really just kind of enacting some of the things that he said he was going to enact on the campaign trail. And I figured, as someone who did vote for him, be probably fun for me to go over some of the things that he's done, though some of the bigger, more notable things, and give my takes on each of them. So the first one on the list, and this is probably one of the bigger ones, is Donald Trump leaving the World Health Organization and Paris Climate Accord pretty much at the exact same time. And I wanted to kind of knock them both out at the same time because the reason he left them is pretty much the same. He left them because they had unfair trading practices with the US. Is specifically the World Health Organization. We had countries like China, which has obviously a much larger population than our own, and they paid less than 80% of what we paid. I believe it was even less than 90% of what we paid to the World Health Organization. And that money should just be more funneled into our own economy and into our own taxpayers, back into our own taxpayers' wallets, essentially, given to actual American citizens. And the same reason for the Paris Climate Accord, the US just simply had unfair trade deals with it, and it just wasn't really an even playing field on our end, and it was a waste of our resources to keep funneling money into it when, again, we have so many things on our home base that need attention that just aren't getting that attention. On top of this, Donald Trump believes that the World Health Organization is probably colluding with the different countries and is probably being operated by money and power rather than actually a will to help people, which all plays into why he decided to eventually leave it. I believe in 2026 is when we're officially going to be gone from it. It's a year notice, if I believe. So yeah, 2026 January, we're going to be out of who, and that's why. And same with the Paris Climate Accord, just corruption and basically waste of money for the US taxpayers and US government in general. And the next one on the list is ending DEI initiatives in government offices, which I actually think is twofold. And this theme is obviously going to become very common because Trump's a businessman. He's obviously going to focus on America's economy. But I believe one part of the reason is economic. It's just simply wasted money kind of positions. DEI chief executive, all these things and jobs that were just kind of there. Yeah, they gonna cut them because saves money. And as I've said kind of previously before, Donald Trump's a businessman. I think a lot of these executive orders are going to be based around money, and that's going to be a large reason for a lot of these. I don't think that's the sole reason for this one. I think another big reason is the fact that Trump wants people who are qualified and people who are actually good at their job to be in the positions they hold. He wants it to be a merit-based system rather than a DEI initiative. So I do definitely understand it. I'm personally, like, I wouldn't have cared either way, but is it good that it's gone? Probably. Realistically, in the long run, it's probably much better that we don't have a lot of these nonsense positions taking up whatever spaces of government we have left. Oh my God, I went by that one like so quickly, and I'm about to go by this one like probably even quicker, because the next one on my list is the ability, or I guess disability now, to put a X gender marker on your passport. Personally, I thought it was kind of silly that that was even a thing in the first place, and I'm actually kind of glad they took it away. And before anyone like gets on me, here's why. So, as many of you know, obviously trans, hi, and the thing I've always felt, and I felt this even before I transitioned, is that the whole non-binary thing, it shouldn't be taken serious. Like, it really shouldn't be taken serious beyond a phase that people have, right? And that's kind of what I've noticed. A lot of non-binary people, either they don't transition at all in the long run, or they end up transitioning to, you know, as normal as a transition can get, a normal transition person. And here's the thing, I think it was something that maybe could have been used as like a stepping stone or something. I think a lot of people who used to identify as non-binary, like deep in the community way back when, it was a very niche thing and it meant nothing really how it is nowadays. And I think getting an X on a passport is just kind of silly. It delegitimizes actual trans issues and the actual importance of changing your gender marker on passports and things like that. Personally, I know some people are going to be like, wow, they can use that same argument against you, that it's delegitimizing to normal biological people to be able to change it. And they're going to use the same thing. The leopard's going to eat your face. Well, two things can be true at once, right? Like, I can think and agree that, hey, there's a limit on the whole trans thing, while also knowing, hey, there are some people who are genuinely helped by the whole trans thing. And I think it's nice to call out the things that are wrong with the community, like the acceptance of any new identity that comes in and out, and the accepting of predators, which I'm going to do plenty of content on in the future, trust. Then I think it's also good to fight for the things that we should get to keep, such as getting to change our gender marker M to F, whatever, all that good stuff. But overall, that's just kind of my take on this. Like I said, kind of glad that it's gone and hope it stays gone, because it's just kind of silly. Personally, I think it will stay gone. The whole non-binary trend is definitely dying out. So whoever the next president is, it's most likely not coming back. Okay, this one I actually just think is like actually really funny, because it's not petty. I understand why it was done, but it's funny to me. So the renaming of landmarks to be more historic. I don't know if the Gulf of Mexico is a landmark, or Gulf of America now is what's called. The Gulf of America and Mount Denali being renamed back to Mount Kinsley. So the reason obviously Donald Trump is doing this is to incite a more patriotic American spirit. It's a way to, here's how I would put it. A lot of countries will obviously, they're a lot more patriotic than America, and I know that's shocking, but when you actually look at some of like these other really big countries, their people are very patriotic to their country in a way that Americans aren't. And I think Donald Trump is trying to incite some of that patriotism by having these American names, the Gulf of America, because it's, America, yeah. And Mount Kinsley being renamed to an American historical figure rather than a Native American historical figure, which I think we can go people go tit for tat with that one about their opinion on that. Personally, I think the Gulf of Mexico change is a lot more insignificant than the Mount Denali / Mount Kinsley. I think it's Mount Kinsley, I forgot, but that's just kind of my take on it. I think with Mount Denali, there's a bigger argument to be made about whether or not it should just completely stay Mount Denali, because as I've last researched, it was about Native American culture. The Denali name was picked by natives, and because they're natives and it's American, why not? Native Americans deserve to have some patriotism too, right? But the Gulf of Mexico, I really don't care. Rename it to Gulf of America. Why not? It's fun. Oh, so this next one actually is one of the biggest reasons I am so grateful I voted for Donald Trump in this last election. Oh my gosh. So this is actually, again, one of the biggest reasons I voted for Trump just in general, was the fact that I knew he would put the American people first. He would stop putting all this money into these foreign systems, into these foreign countries, into other people who also need money, and I can attest to that. But when we're suffering as well, why should the American people suffering come last to these other countries in our own country? I think that's just ridiculous. And so with this next executive order that Trump signed, that I'm so happy to announce, and I'm sure many of you already know, but for those of you who don't, he signed a 90-day halt on funding overseas to just other countries, just to foreign aid. And it was to focus in on where our money's going, if it could continue going to these outlets, and how to best funnel the money back to us, to the people who need it, to help LA wildfire relief. I believe Trump listed LA wildfires and North Carolina hurricane relief as specific cases. Don't quote me on that, but I'm like 99% sure I heard that was specifically mentioned when this specific executive order was talked about. And that's something I completely adore, because again, I can admit a lot of countries need help, and a lot of countries could do a lot with the help that America provides. However, at the same time, we have so many people in America right now who just lost their entire homes, who lost their entire lives. Some people lost families, some people lost family members. There's so many things going on in America right now that our focus should not be helping everybody else. Our focus needs to come back to our people, and needs to come back and help us, the American people, not the Ukrainians, not the Israelis, not the Palestinians, the American people. deserve to be first in America. I ate that. This last one, you know, I think a lot of people have very mixed opinions on this because it is a very sensitive topic and it's a very kind of wishy-washy topic in some ways, but it's Donald Trump's mass deportation and huge, like, and I mean like huge crackdown on border security. Personally, I'm all for it. It was, again, another one of the biggest reasons I voted for him was for him to crack down on illegal immigration, because I think what's more important than like really getting people out who come in illegally is keeping those who are here. Again, going back to my point earlier about the American people, it's about keeping the American people safe. And currently, the illegal immigration has just gotten so out of control. American people aren't safe. We have horrific incidents happening across the country due to illegal immigration. We have human trafficking skyrocketing. We have drug trafficking skyrocketing. We had over 10 million illegals come in under Biden administration. And I'm pretty sure that was only in like, what, the first 2 years of him in office. It's absolutely sickening how out of control this problem has gotten, to the point where Trump has to enact so much harsh and really strict policies, because at the end of the day, he has to undo all the damage that the Biden administration did. And on top of that, he has to now improve upon the problem. So of course, it's going to be really rocky in the beginning. It's going to be strict. It's going to be hard. But at the end of the day, who do you have to thank for that? If Biden hadn't let all these people spill in and cause the chaos that's been caused, then maybe Trump wouldn't have had to been so strict with it coming back. But unfortunately he does, because the Biden administration failed in that regard. And it's one of the reasons I was so glad that the Harris administration didn't win this election, because illegal immigration has been a topic that recently has become very sensitive to me in a sense. It's become something that I'm actually starting to care a lot more about, and it be one of the issues that I really want to get invested in. And so I think that with Donald Trump's recent crackdowns on illegal immigration, with everything that he's doing, I'm actually really pleased with it. I'm satisfied, I'm happy, and it's, again, something that makes me glad that I voted for him. It makes me glad that he won. Anyway, guys, I think that just about covers it with Donald Trump's executive orders with his first week in office. Whew. I guess like a lot of them I covered was actually on his first day in office, but oh well. I should have a new video coming out Saturday. Don't hold me to that, because I was kind of being like super lazy with this one, and this was supposed to come out last Sunday, and it's now Tuesday, so. Anyway, I hope you have a good day. Thank you for tuning in. Love y'all, and hopefully you'll tune in for the next one.